Hey, what's up, YouTube and social media? So, gotta get on here and rant a little bit. Saw a video or post last night through some instructors I follow about someone proposing a competition. All right, and no shade getting thrown at anybody here. My opinion on why this is a horrible idea. That's the thesis of what's going on here. So, account Hunter Freeland shooting said who would win, USPSA GM or a SWAT team. This is what's in the post. We're looking at doing a video in the next month that pits a high level SWAT team against a USPSA Grandmaster GM in a close quarter battle environment and see who survives and why. While partly just for fun, I think it would make an interesting topic for discussion. Nominate a GM who you'd like to see first. And so I went and looked at his page, and like I said, this popped up. Two instructors I follow got nominated, and they put Joe Farewell was the one I saw it on, and as I read through comments, David Wampler, who I met at a class I took, didn't take his; it was somebody else's class he was attending. Um, he was nominated as well. So I had never heard of Hunter Freeland. Again, no shade against the dude. He's got a website, hfshooting.com. His journey, this is reading verbatim off his website. Began his journey in 2009 as a Cav scout in the Louisiana National Guard. I've worked with them, mixed results. He did some competition stuff inside the National Guard. After that, he was a contractor for Triple Canopy and OIR, and then he worked for a parish sheriff's office, which a parish is a county in the state of Louisiana. I'm from Oklahoma, that's why I know that. And he made significant contributions into the narcotics enforcement investigations and special response team operations. And then it looks like he instructs now. And I did Google last night because I didn't get to hop on here right away, but I Googled last night. All the reviews I found on him were good. He focuses on marksmanship fundamentals, improving individual marksmanship. He's not a tactician. It looks like he says in his thing here he does compete. He says he shoots USPSA 3-gun and some other stuff. Steel challenge and multi-gun events to stay sharp and informed of the latest training techniques. All right. So again, no shade against the dude. Looking at his stuff, he is affiliated with some larger training organizations. Looks like he does a lot of stuff in Oklahoma, Texas, Louisiana region, and then travels out to California, which is pretty common from what I've seen for instructors. Those are kind of hotbeds that have a high desire for instructors. But back to the thesis again. Everything I saw in him was positive. Why is this a bad idea? And to caveat this, John McClain, Fancy Pants Shooting, FPSholsters.com, he hooked me up with a nice holster. He put a great video out there. Right now in the gun space, there's a ton of shade getting thrown by competitors towards military and law enforcement, and then from military and law enforcement back towards competitors. So the competitors, all right, like a couple weeks ago, I saw a post where somebody showed the bottom 5 or 6 people at their match, and 3 or 4 of them were law enforcement that were all DQ'd. When there was no context to it, it's just saying, "Oh, law enforcement sucks. They all got DQ'd." Well, they DQ'd because they broke some range rule, not because they did something that's unsafe in their environment. That is, just got my retired ID card today. 28 years and 4 months total service. All right. When you work in an environment that is 360, i.e., you're a law enforcement officer or you're a combat arms military personnel, which this dude has done both. 180 rules kind of apply, but not really. All right, and so maybe that specific instance, it is what it is. But here's where I'm at. USPSA GM versus SWAT team. One, no SWAT team should sign up for this. Nothing good will come from this from a SWAT team. If you're a 4-man entry team with long guns, which they're going to go in with some kind of AR or some kind of SMG, and then they're sidearm holstered, 4 of you should win against a single shooter, regardless of that single shooter's capabilities. All right, that is the whole point of CQB. That's the whole point of points of domination, all those things when we enter rooms and clear rooms, right? 1 and 2 man, yes, are high risk. and 3 or 4 there to mop up. Not to mention, if they're doing it full up, they're going to throw flashbangs, they're going to use smoke, they might use some kind of irritant smoke, right? And even regular smoke is still pretty irritant in enclosed spaces and can actually cause some pretty serious damage. So that's why I say there's nothing good that comes out of this for a SWAT team. They should win. If by some chance they don't win, then it's nothing but shade, right? Nothing but shade. And again, I'm a nobody. I'm a B class shooter. All right, B class. I have one A class qualifier. Pretty proud of it. I'm getting better, but a GM should not do this. Also, why? Because it's not what GMs do. All right, I don't know of any high level instructors that claim they're tacticians. They talk about speed and accuracy, right? The combination of speed and accuracy to continue to push those two higher and higher to be good, right? And that is what an entry team needs. They need to be fast and accurate, right? Rounds on target first. That has won gunfights since the invention of the firearm, right? And that's what SWAT teams need to do, is do that. The other problem with this, high-level SWAT teams. So I did some research. I didn't know. I don't have a police background, so I Googled U.S. SWAT standards. And here's what the AI overview says. U.S. SWAT standards are heavily influenced by the National Tactical Officers Association, NTOA, and NIJ recommendations. They prioritize physical fitness, advanced marksmanship, and specialized tactical training. All right. But what's not said there is no standard. There is no standard for what a SWAT team is. You have full-time SWAT teams. You have part-time SWAT teams. You have, emergency response teams. All right. If you go to Chicago or LA or New York City or Dallas or Miami, those SWAT dudes are up there, right? Mid 2000s, somebody called FBI's HRT the most highly trained and underutilized law enforcement asset in the country, or counterterror asset in the country, right? Those dudes are good at what they do, and I'm probably dudettes. I don't know, but there's a lot more that comes to it, right? And that's one thing that I think a lot of competition shooters, specifically that have never served in military or law enforcement, don't understand is once you move into that team environment, that 4-man stack, that 2-man stack, whatever your tactics are, right? Once you move into that team environment, all of that has to throttle back. It doesn't matter if you can, it does matter, but it doesn't matter how fast you can do things if the person next to you can't do things that fast, right? Now, high level units, all right? Take Delta, take high level Ranger units, take your Swift teams from the GWAT era, what they did well and what they do well is they raise the lowest common denominator, right? They take the worst person on the team and they make them better than the best person on another team, right? That's what they do. And I'm sure that's what SWAT does too. But that still doesn't put them on the level with a national level GM. Again, a national level GM who focuses on speed and accuracy and does not claim to know anything about tactics. This is, again, AI. I found it interesting. Marksmanship. Qualification requires high stress, timed, and close quarters proficiency, such as from 7 yards, firing 2 rounds center mass and 1 to the head within 4 seconds. 4 seconds. I'm a B-class shooter. That's very reasonable standard. Now, is it a stress shoot, which is what I grew up with? Now we call the tactical games, where you just did 20 burpees and ran up to a line, hit beep, draw, shoot. Maybe it's a little harder, but I think 4 seconds is still a very low standard in my opinion, for someone who's doing stuff like this. But that's my opinion. Most of them have a minimum of 40-hour basic SWAT school, right? 40 hours, 1 week SWAT school. Take your local GM. They've probably been to 10, 15, 20 classes, right? They're all at least 1, if not 2 day. So again, if I'm a SWAT team, there's no way I'm signing up for this because there's no way for me to win. If I win, it was 4 against 1 and we had long guns and SMGs against a race gun. If we lose, it proves that one extremely highly trained individual can overcome our tactics, which is dangerous, that's a dangerous message to send out into the world. And if I'm a GM, why? Why am I dipping my toe in this tactical space? Maybe I get some social media visibility and I get a little bit extra enrollment in my classes, but there's nothing to win from this. All right. Competition shooters, stop being assholes to your military and law enforcement people. The only reason I'm still doing this after I started in 2019 is because at my first match when I sucked, and I think I shot like 20% of the person that won the match, was because that person that won the match was former military. He was a mechanic in the Army. Here I am, an infantryman. Was like, hey, you're not going to be good today. Be safe and get better over time, right? They brought him in the right way. USPSA shooters, whatever you shoot, PCSL, whatever, bring these guys in the right way, right? Make it fun, show them the value of it, and then build the team, all right? God, stop being divisive. Again, John McClain had a great video out there about the shooting community chewing each other up, all right? I'm not going to get into that rant right now, but it is 100% out there where we are a bunch of little tribes in the shooting community, and history shows us that when a bunch of little tribes cannot unite against whatever, they eventually get torn down, all right? And that's what the shooting community is going to be. Okay, I applaud Hunter for getting out there and giving some ideas. I think it's a horrible idea. I'm a nobody. I'm a B-class shooter. You do what you want to do. But that's my opinion. Bye.